you can go. How can you say that? You're the straight face.
Our understanding is that the first group that left this last table was the West.
That's correct.
Oh, then you're living in a freaking box, buddy.
Okay, guys, good job.
Wow. Holy
Scott
mackerel.
Theuer was not present at Wye River.
I
Scott
was.
Theuer cannot talk about
I
what
was.
happened. And we've got people in here that were. So let's, if we
Wait, I
want to
can't
talk
allow
about
him
Wye,
to make a statement
well
like that.
then Mike
It is
Stewart's going to have to.
Wow.
The one thing I will say, first of all, she's absolutely correct. I wasn't there, and I said that was.
I have a question in order. Let's Scott answer.
And she is right. I wasn't there, and I said it was my understanding, and it's not a negative comment on the West. It is really a point that we simply can't agree on anything. None of the guys here at this table have anything to do with the negotiations that are going on.
But Scott, the pilots here would appreciate, instead of making up facts, that if you don't know what you're talking about...
I said that I didn't.
No, you didn't. You want me to rewind it? Can I rewind it?
I quit spinning it.
I mean, I think it's pretty clear.
And I just apologized, and I just said I wasn't there, and I just said that I thought it was my understanding, and I said correct.
This master seniority list that you envision, this is your date of hire list, this master list. It is to have no effect on the daily bidding, on the monthly bidding. And it's going to be in place ostensibly, I may be reading too much into this, to give the illusion that we're actually a combined workforce while we continue to operate separately for all intents and purposes on our separate lists until there is, I don't know, all eternity, but that under certain circumstances, according to you in Charlotte, that these fences that are going to be put in place could be crossed. Is that correct? That under certain circumstances?
These are ideas which have yet to be fleshed out because, first of all, they don't contain West opinion on how to formulate them, and it was said very clearly, I'm answering the question, that particular issue would be very, very problematic, and that the reason it's being addressed is for the betterment of all pilots. In other words, there are a few, I don't know how many, a few West pilots that it would be advantageous for them to live closer to their family or friends that are on the other side of the Mississippi. And it is our goal, if possible, to allow that to happen. Whether or not the pilot groups, both sides, agree that it works out for both sides remains to be seen, and nobody here will make that decision.
Well,
it is proposed.
Your quote was, or to quote you in Charlotte, you said, and this is a quote, "We will look at it and see how it affects the relative seniority of the guys in that domicile and decide if that's something that can be done." My question to you is, who is going to look at this
It's
and make
been
these
clearly
decisions?
stated about 4 times since this morning, and you've been here the whole time.
Let's get an example here. Let's say that I want to leave here and go to Charlotte, God forbid, but let's say I wanted to do that, all right, and that my place on the master list, wherever that may be, would allow me to do that. What would you need to look at to determine whether or not I could do it?
Well, there's a couple of things. One thing is...
Who gets to fill the hole you leave?
Who gets to fill the hole you leave, and for the very same issue that primarily we believe affects the West pilot. But we've also received calls from East pilots that said, well, there are guys senior to me by date of hire that I can be affected by relative position as well. And one of the big concerns with the America West pilot is, you know, it's one thing to talk about base, it's one thing to talk about status, but you know, if you don't protect my relative position, all of that is worthless.
So relative seniority is good for East guys, but completely unacceptable for West guys as it applies to blend in these lists.
I'm
right?
sorry, no.
Dude, you are incredible. I have never seen anybody in my life, in 35 years of professional work, I have never seen anyone with such an inflated ego that it deserved to have choir music. Man, you're at an altitude so high, it is unbelievable. You're making it up as you're going along, and you're hiding your agenda.
No, okay,
yes, you are.
And
you may as well be up front about it, because these people aren't stupid.
I'm trying to answer your question right now.
You aren't answering anything. You're making it up as you go along, Theuer. You've been doing it the last 3 stops.
First of all, You just talked about.
Who's next, please?
He talked about protecting East relative seniority on that hypothetical move. And what he forgot about is that the other side of it is the opposite move. And so nobody suggested for one that one-way movement.
Another professional comment. Gentlemen, I've about had it.
Well, you can leave then. You can't take the knee.
There needs to be some decorum here. If you think the name calling as you go out the door is effective, I don't.
We know y'all do. We know y'all's agenda. Come on, treat us like you know, professionals.
Rookie.
Because we know what you guys are all about. We're not stupid. And I hate that, you know, why are you even here? I mean, you're
Because
here.
pilots from the West asked us to come.
They give us some type of
This is great fun. Can't you tell how much fun we're having here?
Well,
So, yeah,
I
we-
think, okay, time out, you guys. Hey, whoa, one more question, and I'm going to reiterate it once again. As self-appointed leaders of USAPA who want to represent the pilots, this might be new to you, but this is going to be your largest domicile. You're going to represent these guys, and it's important for you to hear how they feel and what they're thinking. So if you guys can't represent these pilots, so I appreciate you spend this time. I'm going to do the obscenities, but I do ask that all our pilots, please, it's inappropriate at this point to swear, to call names, and that is inappropriate and ineffective. But these guys are self-appointed. You want to talk about trusteeship? USAPA is a virtual 18-month trusteeship. They've appointed themselves leadership, they've appointed leaders, and they're in a de facto trusteeship all on their own. But they want to represent you, and I think it behooves us all to tell them how we feel. And I'm really sorry if it's going to ruin your day. But here we are, once again. Welcome to Phoenix. Thank you, Steve. Stefan.
yeah.